So I want to discuss with you today some important elements of argumentation. These are the most difficult parts of argumentation for most students, but they're also the ones that I want you to focus on the most specifically. So we're looking at these five particular terms today, and I want to break them out in detail, and then we'll describe them again using an example. So the first one that we're going to think about is a conclusion. Oftentimes we think about this as the thesis statement. There's some overlap between thesis, conclusion, and argument that's described in your textbook. But for our purposes, when we think about conclusion in terms of argumentation, we're thinking about that thing that the writer thinks that the reader should think or do. When we talk about premise, premise and conclusion are usually tied very closely together. In this case, you can think about the premise as whatever follows the conclusion. You should think or do X because, right? It's that because piece that establishes what the premise is. It's the idea that supports the conclusion. When we think about support here, we can think about the term evidence, right? The reason you should do or think X are supported by these facts or these pieces of evidence. The warrant, as we'll see in the example, is typically inferred. And this is the piece that students typically struggle with the most. But the warrant is the reason that these facts should be supported, should be accepted as evidence of this premise and this conclusion. We'll come back to that with an example. And then lastly, a counterargument. Good argumentation always includes an acknowledgement that another conclusion or multiple conclusions exist, but that those conclusions are faulty because. So we have these five pieces: conclusion, premise, support, warrant, counterargument. Let's look at them with an example. Think about this entire example. We'll break it down in a moment. You should vote for Hannah for student body president because she is the candidate with the most experience and the best plan to improve student experiences on campus. Hannah's resume indicates that she has spent 2 years in the student body executive, including 1 year as vice president. Hannah's campaign speeches have described a detailed plan to address parking issues on campus with college administrators. While Hannah's opponent also has an idea to solve campus parking, Hannah's plan is stronger because of her research at other colleges. So if we break this down piece by piece, we can establish that the conclusion is that you should vote for Hannah for student body president. That is the thing that this writer wants you to think or wants you to do. That conclusion is supported by the premise that you should vote for Hannah for student body president because she is the candidate with the most experience and the best plan to improve student experience on campus. This paragraph then follows the conclusion and the premise with two pieces of support. The fact that her resume indicates that she has spent 2 years in the student body executive, including 1 year as president, and that her speeches have included this detailed plan to address parking. Notice that the support here is not just an idea, but it also indicates the location of where that idea can be proven. First, the resume, second, her campaign speeches. And this is where the warrant comes in. The warrant is not actually on the page. The warrant is that thing that is activated in the reader's mind when they encounter these pieces of evidence. As I say here on the screen, typically the warrant is implied. In this case, the warrant implies that generally previous experience and detailed plans indicate the potential for someone to be a strong leader. And lastly, we have counterargument. When this writer acknowledges that another person has also a plan for parking on campus, this person counterargues and says that Hannah's plan is stronger because of research at other colleges. So these are the five pieces of argumentation that I want you to be familiar with. Conclusion, you should think or do something. Premise, you should think or do that something because. Support, the reason you should do or think X is supported by these facts. Warrant, typically implied, you can accept these facts as support for these reasons because. And counterargument, another conclusion exists, but it is faulty because.